Greetings, everyone. Welcome to CRWS. The date is May 14th, 2026. We are doing a counter racist review on Marvel's The Punisher One Last Kill. And as expected, this film, like many other films a person will watch on this planet, is a film that is just to be like super blunt, garbage. Um, uh, just a terrible, awful film, racist propaganda. Getting into my notes here, there's a lot of white culture and white psyche that we can learn from Frank Castle. Um, his mentality, his dedication to what he calls the mission. He may be reciting some Marine code or terminology, but that is echoing the racist man and racist woman mentality into maintaining this system of white supremacy. You know, they're willing to sacrifice whatever it takes. They are constantly thinking of ways to maintain and refine and to keep non-white people subjugated worldwide. The film was very, very violent and brutal, barbaric, and this behavior is how white people took over the planet by being able to invade people's lands and just slaughter them like nothing. This is a trait unique to racist men and racist women, seemingly. It appears that no other group in known history has been able to simply slaughter large numbers of people and justify it. This is a insane Urugu white supremacist trait. And when we see films where like the character is just killing and just solving problems with violence, this is how white supremacists have decided they're going to go about controlling the planet, with violence and destruction and deception. Because there's a lot of deception in this film, where we are meant to think Frank Castle is some sort of like vigilante, maybe some sort of hero, perhaps. But no, he's simply a white supremacist. If we're being truthful here, I think I counted, but 13. There's probably more, but 13 non-white people were slaughtered in this film. Like, um, you know, but this is like a Disney Marvel comic book hero. Andre, the character Andre, we can learn a lot from Andre and how the system functions. The city, Andre and his family, I'll just use the word family so people will understand that. And his family, they are around all this violence and chaos. But he's not telling his daughter the truth. He's telling her, oh, they're just playing. They're just playing. He's lying to her. And I think this lying to her is causing confusion, because he should be telling her, yeah, like, keep it, be cautious, pay attention. He should be teaching her strategies to counter or become more like, aware of the kind of planet she's on. But no, he's like, oh, they're just playing. Like, people are getting stabbed and shot all around him. Oh, they're just playing. Like, it's just like silly, and it echoes, and it is very realistic depiction of how non-white people raise their children. We do not teach our offspring the truth about racism, white supremacy, what it is, and how it works. We don't tell them that they're subjugated because of the color of their skin. We don't tell them that they're going to be sabotaged in all areas of people activity. We don't tell them this because either we are too cowardly or we simply are ignorant of the reality we were born into. So I thought that was very interesting. We could learn something from that. Self mutilation, another thing that is unique to the Urugu, I would say, just mutilating yourself for, it's just, I just caught that self mutilation. I did notice that the person who brought Frank Castle back to his mission of like killing, because that's what he's good at. That's what he wants to do. So it was a blonde. It was a white blonde, and go check out our race code war studies to learn more about like what these color symbols mean when we see a blonde on a screen or a redhead. Like these all have meanings. The first person we see get mistreated in this film is a homeless black veteran. Again, reflecting the real tacky system that does send black males, non-white males to all these deserts and all these other areas to get PTSD and get blown up and get kicked around and then come back and then not get the help that they need. This happens very often in this system. It's very normal, actually. And we are in a system that conditions most people to not care about non-white people, not care about justice, guaranteeing no one is mistreated, and the persons who need help the most receive type of help. We're not on a planet that promotes any of this. We're on a planet that promotes sit down and watch this partnership movie, watch this guy kill 1,000 people for 48 minutes, and this is your entertainment. What's being learned here? Because the children are going to watch this. What are they going to gather from this? They're going to gather what they get from most entertainment the races give them. Mistreating people is fun. Killing is fun. Something that shouldn't be done on this planet. This is what this film is promoting. Just white supremacy. What else do I have down here? Yeah, Frank Castle goes about, he chooses to solve his problems with violence. And the area they're in, New York, Little Sicily, it's depicted to be very like horrific and just a place no one would want to dwell. And this is also in the Marvel universe or whatever, where all these superheroes are flying around, saving the world allegedly. But yet all this stuff is going on, which goes to show you how worthless these fictional characters, these fictional universes are. White people have yet to produce any Marvel character, any fictional universe where justice is established, where no one is mistreated, and the people who need help the most receive constructive help. These people have godlike powers, but still very tacky and trashy in their fictional worlds. Which goes to show you whether in imagination or in reality, white people have no interest in doing what needs to be done, which is bringing justice to planet Earth, guaranteeing no one is mistreated, and the persons who need help the most receive constructive help. That should be everyone's purpose on this planet. Every fictional character should also have that purpose, or it's just worthless. It's another waste of time, and the system has conditioned us to just waste our time consuming nonsense like this. But we are here to counter that effect. And I'm gonna conclude there, and we're gonna hear from Miss Action.
So, two things I noticed. At the beginning, Frank Castle is doing some exercise that should be constructive, and we notice that he has blood on his hands. And after he finishes his workout, he consumes alcohol and vomits in a bucket inside of his dwelling. How is this constructive? Uh, Second, when the white female whose family he killed because they are responsible for the death of his family, um, she sends all of these people out to go kill him. They're knocking on people's doors trying to find him, terrorizing people. And he's just standing there. And I noticed the music choice that they use is Louis Armstrong. It sounds like a very calm song, but he's engaging in violence and murder. Uh, so I guess murder, violence is calming to them. Okay. Uh, that seemed like the only time he seemed to be proactive about anything. Uh, yeah. Just the non-white people in the film were either victimized or they were victimizing other people. So it's just this is the type of world that I guess some white people want. There's no this white woman who is obviously wealthy, her family who's obviously wealthy. They didn't see a problem with people living in filth because they have what they have. Nobody has any problem with it. Nobody is seeking to improve the situation because the woman, before she tells Mr. Castle that she's going to have him killed, there's a boy that runs past her into the building where she's going to send dozens upon dozens of terrorists to try to kill one man, but they terrorize everybody else they come in contact with. Cute little boy, she says, but too bad he has to grow up in this filth. I take that as she can do something about that, but she chooses not to because she doesn't see a problem. So they don't see a problem. I've just come to that conclusion. They don't see a problem. So I'm not going to be focusing on asking them anything about why won't you solve this problem. No. I feel like that just falls on people who actually want the problem solved, and we're just going to have to figure out our own way to do it. White supremacists figured out a way to create this system. We can figure out a way to replace it with justice.
Thank you, Miss Action. Evolutionist, will we be hearing from you?
Yeah, my observation from the beginning, um, the scene where he was doing pull-ups and he was obviously suffering, and then him imagining the blood coming from his hand, symbolizing his guilt. Then he immediately wanted to purge or vomit up. They pursue pain as a way to deal with their guilt, pain that they can benefit from. And still, they want to purge their guilt. Um, from the beginning, they want to give us this ideal that there's these white men walking around victimized by the system, that forced them to go fight and kill, and they didn't want to do it. And now they have all these mental problems because they didn't want to do it. They didn't want to go kill non-white people and terrorize all over the world for a paycheck. Um, they've never had an enemy face them in these times, an enemy that is equal to the force that they bring. So the overwhelming power, murder power that these soldiers, so-called soldiers, have in the so-called United States Armed Forces, military wing of white supremacy racism, the global one. Um, they're supposed to be walking around with PTSD and all these other conditions. Blah 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 blah. Uh, they knew from the giddy up. Everybody got to learn to shoot first. So what the hell you learn to shoot and you don't know you're going to kill, or you may be required to kill when everybody got to learn to shoot? So, the little in the beginning, the little alter ego black guy that psychologically come to him and help him try to get his head back straight. That's a caricature, a niggerized caricature that black people been playing, moralizing these white psychopaths in a lot of these movies. It's been a lot in recent times, but they always have these little sidekicks to these killers. Even going back to something as silly as 48 Hours. Eddie Murphy was a sidekick to a savage Nick Nolte. So they want us to have empathy for these white killers that walk among us that could be triggered at any moment. And they want us to be afraid that these white killers with these great skills are walking among us in the concept called the United States. Um, and look at these savage global domestic terrorists as somehow victims. Victims. When he went into his killing spree, yep, the music plays because it is therapeutic. It is his happy place. It is his suspended animation. It is the mindset of the usual suspect terrorist male psyche when let loose to be as savage as they many want to be. The skilled or velvet glove they forced to be refined racists. Some of them have it's a tiring effect. They get tired of the act and want to show up. So that's why they get these ideas of PTSD or every now and then they can show up. Um, the lie that they project again that white people care about children. I've seen in real life suspected white supremacist males try to act as if they love these little daughters they had, but yet they're the number one rapists of them. Yeah, they fondle their children more than anybody else, but yet they have these great homicidal, maniacal, I should say, killer fathers or wannabe killer fathers that have this also part of them that has this great love. The contradiction and the hypocrisy of the system of racism, white supremacy, is what they're again coaxing their victims to believe. You can be a homicidal maniac, but also be motivated deep within by this love and this compassion you have for an old nigger with a dog. It's ridiculous, ridiculous, ridiculous. But that's their psyche. We're supposed to swallow it down as entertainment. But getting all these messages and all this imprint on our consciousness that these homicidal maniacs are really motivated by love and they have a conscience and guilt. And no, it's all false. It's all to help continue to paint the picture of these people as normal and this way of life is normal. We've obviously accepted it because they walk around killing folks all the time, right? They walk around the concept of the United States murdering people all the time. So we've obviously accepted it. That's my observation.
Thank you, Mr. Evolutionist. Stellar input. Miss Helen?
Hi, peaceful greetings. This is from a TV series. This short film is a piece of a TV series, and yeah, I find that very interesting. Uh, Frank Castle, played by John Berthel. He was in Walking Dead and King Richard, which I think is a good film. King Richard, check it out, about Serena Williams and Venus Williams' father, coaching them, grooming them to be the best tennis players. I think that's a good film. Let me see what else. Okay, so the black male with the white dog, and he's homeless. Obviously, he needs help, but he's obviously not getting it. The dog is killed, and look up, look up dogs, and really study and learn about dogs. Um, I think you'll be fascinated by whatever you find out. Um, John, the guy who played Frank Castle, and the director, Mr. Green, they wrote this film together. So it doesn't surprise me with all the violence and everything else because Mr. Green was like, you know what, you know, whatever you want to do, do it. You have free will to write the story however you want to, put as much violence, whatever the director let him do it. So this is this is from John's mind, John Berthel's mind. Um, Frank Castle, he's suffering from PTSD. At least that's what they're portraying in the film. And it just makes me wonder, like, okay, if he suffered with PTSD, then how many non-white people, how many black people are suffering with PTSD, and we haven't been to war, as in, the type of war that he went into, with the stuff that we're seeing on television, how we're being mistreated at work, just walking around, going trying to shop for stuff, whether it's food or clothes or whatever, and the mistreatment and all the things that we deal with or whatever. So I believe that non-white people, we suffer with PTSD as well. Um, White supremacists do a really good job at tugging at our heartstrings, aka getting us to be sympathetic to them, showing Frank Castle that that his family died and they were shot and killed, and all the things that he's going through and suffering PTSD. They really do an awesome job getting us to be sympathetic towards them, but we do not receive that same sympathy. Um, Frank Castle has a black friend named Curtis, which is interesting. The store owner, whose real name is Andre, um, but in the movie it's Dre or whatever, they describe him as he's described as a mild mannered convenience store owner and a father who interacts with Frank and has a daughter named Charlie. Mild manner. I believe that that's how white supremacists, how they want black males, black people to be seen as mild mannered. Like, we're just calm. We're just, just whatever. It's just so peaceful. Why all this chaos, and while we're being mistreated, whatever, we're just mild mannered. We're not, but yet they want to also portray us as aggressive. Just look at us and, we're so aggressive, whatever. But yet look at the situation with what's the name, Chud the Builder or whatever, how he was able to walk around and call non-white people nigger and this, that, and the other, wasn't harmed at all. Wasn't harmed at all. Um, People were very, very courteous towards him. Somebody even shook his hand one time. So I was like, interesting. Um, what else? Oh, the little girl that was at the gravesite. That was the actor's actual daughter. Um, yeah, and the director wanted her to be in it so that it could draw more emotion out of Frank Castle, whatever, being that it's his actual daughter that's playing the part. Um, what else? This movie reminded me of The Purge, slightly of The Purge. Yeah, definitely The Purge. I got a lot of Purge vibes from it. Um, and like how chaotic they make New York look on the screen is very interesting. Uh, New York could be chaotic at times, with the panhandling and just people after you see the after effects of people walking around and nodding off in the street and everything or whatever. But this movie took it up to like 1,000. I was like, ugh, okay. Oh, the movie also took place in Queens and in Brooklyn. That's where they filmed this at. What else? Let's see. Uh, Somebody made an interesting point earlier about the hierarchy when it comes to like colored hair or whatever, like the blonde haired woman and brunettes. But yeah, definitely check out um, Color War. Wait, no,
Race
not
Code
Color Monitor.
War.
Oh, check out, yeah, Race Cold War, but also Color Monitors. That's also something to check out as well. Um, Race Cold War, yeah. The black couple, the black elderly couple that like all this chaos is going on around them and they're just oblivious and they're like, oh, what time is your train? Blah blah blah. And I'm like you have to keep your head. You have to keep your head on the swivel. You have to pay attention to what's going on around you. You cannot just like read your head in the air, whatever. Like you're not paying attention, and you're about to get whacked with a bat. I was just like, ugh. Like they people they have non-white people looking kind of silly, very very silly and just oblivious. And I'm like, and that's how they want us. That's exactly how they want us. Um, what else? There was another point that was interesting. Let me see. Let me check my notes. The director. Oh, the director has a has a black father and and they say a Puerto Rican mother, which I suspect what they really mean is because they got us in a chokehold over here with Puerto Rican. Oh, they got Puerto Rican. Oh, they non-white. No, I suspect it is a white person that speaks Spanish. That's what I think they're calling Puerto Rican. Not to say that there's not non-white people who are from the concept of Puerto Rico, but I just looking at his complexion, I'm thinking it's white mom that speaks Spanish. What
He's white.
else? Yeah, they got us with Puerto Rican, Latino, Hispanic. Oh, they got us
There's
so
white
confused with
people.
those
There's white
terms.
people from Puerto Rico and there's non-white people from Puerto Rico. But I mean, colorism is the biggest thing. But white supremacy, they support it just like we do.
Um, so the part when Frank Castle he went into the he ran up into the convenience store and he's trying to save Andre and his family. Um, so Andre's trying his best. He's swinging the bat. He's trying to keep them away from his family from the store, attempted family. And then like so Frank Castle runs up in there and he's like killing everybody. He's stabbing left and right and oh, it's so gory. This was so gory. So much violence. I was like, oh my
Gross.
gosh, like this is yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of blood. A lot of blood. Inside the convenience store and when they was in the building and they were coming after Frank Castle. But the okay, just talking about Charlie, the little girl. Like she sees him on the screen, and when she sees that, when she sees Frank, she waves at him, and it's like she's somewhere along the line. She got the message: protect this white man. Somewhere along the line, and she's so young, and she already got the message. And then when he went in the store, and she goes up to him, after he kills everybody in there. Well, kills all the so-called bad guys, right? So, or the people that are after him, and then she runs up to his leg and she's hugging his leg, like hugging him, and then like her father is beat up, but the first person she runs to is Frank or
Thank
whatever, and
you.
then her
Thank
father has
you.
to call her. Then her father has to call her, and then she goes over to her dad. Then while the dad is holding her, then she's like, "Oh, wait, wait, wait!" And then she goes and get this rose that she's been cutting out or whatever, drawing and cutting out for Frank. And I'm like, no, this is incorrect or whatever. I mean, yeah. So she got that baby got the message young. She got the message young. Protect this white man. Look out for him. Be grateful to him. And let's not forget the white woman in this film or whatever that caused a, all of this drama because her family was killed or whatever. So you're gonna, you know, terrorize a whole building for one man. Like, why you know where he lives at, you know the building that he's in. Why you didn't just send them to his apartment? Why terrorize everybody? Those guys ran up in the woman's house right across from Frank or whatever. It's a woman and a little boy. Like, obviously that's not Frank. So what are you doing? Like, but they're criminals, right? So yeah, so let's not forget, a lot of time when people talk about racism, white supremacy, they always focus on the man. They always like the man, the white man, the white man. Let's never forget white women. Never, never forget them. Never forget it's white men, white women, white children. And that's all for now.
Yeah, yeah. The old white woman and the fictional like the illusion who appeared when he was tripping out. They are the ones who motivated Frank to get back on his war path and go out and do some killing. And yes, the old white woman started all the chaos. Yeah, so they definitely work together to maintain and this destructive force known as racism, white supremacy. One of the first things I wrote down is white dog. I forgot to mention it, but the homeless vet is taking care of this tiny white dog, and yeah, like what Helen said, do some research on dogs, the history of dogs, but how they've been used, and yeah, and I think it's very interesting that when people are watching this film, the system has demeaned black people for so long that, like what Helen said, there's no sympathy given to non-white people, especially people who are classified as black males. We get the worst treatment on this planet. So when that white dog is ran over by that truck, I'm pretty sure more people were sad about that white dog getting ran over than this black male's position. He's homeless. He's a vet on the street getting bullied by a white supremacist. I'm sure more people have more compassion for that white dog than that black male. And that's something that we need to understand and correct about our thinking, what's been done to our minds, that we will have more sympathy for this mutated creature that should not even exist in the first place, versus a person. That's the awesome power of white supremacy, that it can produce a society where pets have more care, protection, and corrective things happening to them versus people. So, should not be happening. Producing justice should be the goal. Do folks have any more things they want to share before we head out of here?
No,
Yes,
thank you.
I'm glad they did not show any obvious brain tracking by victims with their so-called interracial sexual play. That's one thing they didn't give us, right? I didn't see any of that anywhere.
Yeah, I do like not having to see any of that. I have not seen the TV show. That may be in a TV show. I would not be surprised if it's in the TV show. action you're gonna say?
I had nothing to share.
Copy that. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I'm done. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's input has been really, really awesome and truly yeah. It's nice to use this Disney and Marvel so popular, so consumed in this system. So hopefully some folks who um, minds are interested in learning more about what are these films really about? What's being taught here? What is being taught here? What's being taught in this film, Punisher, is to maintain the status quo, racism, white supremacy. Killing should happen on this planet. It should happen to maintain a system. It should happen to keep the non-white people fearful, docile, mild-mannered.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. So this is what we need to. What victims should learn from this film is just, we need to produce justice. You know, we need to be wary of the many of Frank Castles who are possibly walking around this planet.
Correct.
Um,
Oh, also, let's not forget, hey, people, check out the United Independent Compensatory Code System concept by Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. Please, the word guide, um, code book. Please check it out. Learn about this system.
for real, so we can stop this behavior we saw in this film. This behavior of being silly, oblivious to what's happening around us. You know, producejustice.com. Thanks everyone for your awesome input. CRWS signing out.